Hello, boys and girls. How are you? I've got a story for you this morning, and it's about this man. Well, yes and no. My story is called Sandy the Hedge Cutter. And he says, hi. Now, Sandy, right? Sandy was called Ginger because he had his red hair. Do you see his red hair? And Sandy was a Christian. Yes. As well as a hedge cutter, he was a Christian. He loved Jesus. That's why. And Sandy was hungry. And so he had got off his tractor, stopped cutting the hedges at that point because it was lunchtime, and he opened his sandwich box and got out a beautiful cheese sandwich, well, cheese and pickle really. And as he was about to eat, suddenly, like a whirlwind, out of nowhere came, hello, clunk. It's right on his bottom, would you believe it? Oh, hi, Gov. Now, this was our famous celebrity, a famous film star, would you believe? Say hello. Anyway, so Sandy, being very polite, said, oh, would you like one of my sandwiches, Gov? He called him Gov. And the Gov looked down his nose and said, no, thank you. And as he was getting on his horse, Sandy said to him, hey, Gov, I had a weird dream last night. I dreamt that a voice sounded and said, the richest man in Brentwood will die at 12 o'clock tonight. Well, it was so vivid. And of course, our rich celebrity looked at him and says, you stupid boy. And he got on his horse and galloped away. And as he galloped away, he thought, those words are true. I could die at 12 o'clock tonight. And he was thinking about his big mansion, and he was thinking about all his money he had made by, being in films, and all his investments, and his big farm, and all the cattle he had. And he thought, oh, and he was shivering, shaking because of it. When he got home and he got off his horse and he went into the big banqueting room where he had his meals, do you know? He couldn't eat anything. He was so gloomy. He was so scared. And everybody thought, what's wrong with the Gov? What's wrong with the Gov? I'm going to die. Oh, don't be silly. So they called the doctor, and the doctor came in and looked in his eyes. His eyes was all right. Looked in his mouth. Yep, they're all right. Ears. Yep, they're all right. Heart. Yeah, they're all right, Gov. You're gonna live for another 30 years easily. Anyway, he was scared, and so his private secretary said, I know what we'll do. We will get in your famous orchestra and they will play for you. So in came the violin players and the cello players and the trumpet players and the trombone players and all the other players and the drums, and they began to play beautiful heavenly music. But to this man, it was like a funeral dirge. He said, oh no, get them away, pay them and get them out, I don't want them. Oh, he was so sad and so gloomy and scared. He was sweating, sweat pouring off his forehead. At that time, his wife came in. There she is, isn't she lovely? And she said, oh, darling, oh, be careful, you're all right. There's nothing wrong with you, you're not going to die. But she couldn't comfort him, and she had to leave him. Well, by now it was 7 o'clock, which meant 300 minutes to live. It meant something like 18,000 seconds, and he's going to die. 12 o'clock will come. Well, 7 o'clock came. He thought, I know what I'll do. Before I die, I'll do something good. And he got all the servants together, and he gave his chef £500 bonus for the wonderful cooking he did. He gave all the gardeners a pay rise, and he said to the kitchen maids, you can only work for 35 hours a week. Isn't that brilliant? Yes, yes. And he thanked the grooms who looked after his horses, and everybody was cheerful and happy except our celebrity, our famous film star. He was gloomy. Ooh. And he could hear the clock ticking, tick tock, and it's almost as if he was saying, the famous film star will die tonight at 12 o'clock. And that was going on and on and on, and he was shaking. Well, 11 o'clock came, and then 11:30. That meant it was 30 minutes left before he's going to die, and he's shaking, and he put his head in his hands, and he couldn't look at the clock, and he wanted the clock to stop, but it wouldn't. And then there was 15 minutes left, and then there was 1 minute left before midnight, and then 30 seconds, and then 10 seconds. Shall we say it together, boys and girls? 10, 9, 8, yes, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the clock went. And he was shaking. He was shaking, boys and girls. It's midnight. Oh. Midnight. 12 o'clock. I'm still alive, he said. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Yippee. Sandy got it wrong. And then 5 minutes went by, and then 10 minutes, and then the door at the end of the room opened up, and his private secretary said, Sir, I've got some sad news. Sandy the Hedge Cutter died exactly 12 o'clock this night. You see, boys and girls, this wasn't the richest man in Brentwood with all his money and fame, but Sandy was, because he loved Jesus. He was rich because God had forgiven all his sins, all his wrongdoing. Sandy was rich because he was full of God's love. Sandy was rich because he had the joy of the Lord. Sandy was rich because he had God's peace deep within his heart. Sandy was rich because God answered his prayers. Sandy was rich because the time when he said to Jesus, please forgive all my wrongdoing, and will you come into my heart? I want to follow you, Jesus. And with your help, I will do that. And that's what Sandy did. He was the richest man in Brentwood. God bless you. I trust you enjoyed your story today.